Welcome everybody, and thanks for joining the eVISO conference call on preliminary full year results. The call will be in English and it will take 40 minutes. The call will be organized with 15-20 minutes of presentation and 20 minutes for Q&A. This call is organized by eVISO within our program to have direct channel with shareholders and investors after the half year or the full year results. The call is designed for shareholders. The admission is limited to humans. AI agents are excluded. Today, the topic are the non-audited KPI. Let me remind that the audited full year results will be presented on the 25th of September. The slides presented today are available on the webpage www.eviso.ai section Investor Relations Presentations. The event of today is registered and the video recording of the presentation, Q&A excluded, will be available on our website within the next few weeks. The results will be presented by the CEO, Gianfranco Sorasio, and by the CFO, Federica Berardi. Enjoy the event.
Thank you, Laura. So my name is Gianfranco Sorasio. I think I have seen so many faces that I know. So I'm the CEO of eVISO, and with me there is Federica Berardi, the CFO, that will get in the case of more technical questions at the end. My intervention is about 20 minutes, so we have 20 minutes for questions from the room. The data that you're looking at are the 12 months period, and the data presents some, I think, many numbers are high time records. And let me share with you that the last 12 months have been a fantastic period for the industrial growth of the company. This is possible thanks to the team of dedicated professionals that invest their energy and passion in the company. A special thanks to the company employees and collaborators from over 10 origins everywhere in Europe and beyond. And also, I am seated here in the new headquarters. Actually, it is 1 year today that I'm seated in my office. I entered my office on the 5th of September last year, so it's 12 months straight. At the time, I had no windows, no restrooms, but I had, I would say, the desk where I'm sitting now. So the building is now fully functional since beginning of 2024. 100% of our employees are here, and the old headquarters have been dismissed. So this is also something very important. I would like also to thank our 3 brokers, TP Cap Midcap, WebSim Intermonte, and Envent for supporting today's initiative. I've seen the analysts and sales in the room, and I'm sure they will be happy to make questions at the end so that we keep the attention and the focus high. So let's go. Yeah, before moving to the main numbers of eVISO, I think it's important from our side remind to all of us that we introduced several best practices in 2024. So we introduced as the first one in order to demonstrate our clear attitude of giving value to shareholders. We introduced the quarterly results, and you have seen this happening. The next quarterly results will be published in November. As a second request that we received from shareholders is the request to publish the gross margin at the moment of the KPI release. And so this is also something that we will see today. Actually, we will start from the gross margin data. This is clearly a show of a very positive attitude of eVISO towards long-term investors, which we show by adding new activities. So moving to the numbers, In the last 12 months, eVISO delivered the best results concerning to profitability. We have that the preliminary gross margins of the 12 months period is more or less 17 millions plus or minus 0.4 million. So we have this window, which is an increase of 2.5 times last year results, which was about 6.8 millions. So this is a very positive result. The result is driven by two main factors. So the volume of electricity, we have an increase from one side, a 52% increase in volumes that we deliver to our clients. 52% increase in volume, it's an astonishing result because we are talking of hardcore energy. So it's a commodities which is indispensable for the living of every of our client. We are not talking here about social activities where you see a post or you don't see a post, doesn't make a difference. Here we are talking about, even if you use digital instruments, we are talking about real life industrial production, so industrial delivery. So we have 52% increase in volume of electricity in 12 months, which is an astonishing result. As a second point, we have that the gross margin we extract for every single user increased. So if we take the gross margin, the total gross margin, we divide this gross margin by the number of pods of point we serve, we see that last year this number was about 45 euros and now is more or less the double, about 84 euros. So we managed at the same time to increase 52% the volumes and to increase about 100% the margins that we extract from every single point of delivery. So these two things combined are the driver of the increase of the gross margin. Regarding revenue, this year, despite a decrease of 57% of the price of the commodity, we managed to keep more or less the same turnover because we increase of 52% the volumes and we increase the gross margin. So I think this is also an astonishing result, which is it's a clear sign to all of us that the company managed to transform the capacity built during the high energy period into industrial capacity of serving more clients and delivering more volumes. Then the last period signed also a steep increase in the volume of gas. So we deliver 4.6 million of cubic meters of gas with an increase of 170%. Gas, it's important, is now becoming material, and we have seen an increase of volumes we deliver to the clients. During the recent periods, we publish, for instance, I think at the end of July, beginning of August, that we signed a contract of 2 million euros with a large industrial client. The scaling of eVISO activity in the gas section is also due to the new agreement that we signed with international supplier of gas from one side, and also to development of new technologies that allow eVISO to serve resellers up to the final point instead of halfway as done by other suppliers. So I would say that gas, it's we are ramping up the volumes very quickly. So even if now it's not material compared to let's say the total volume, it will become very material soon. Regarding the net financial position, we will discuss that in a separate slide. It's important that we finish with 11.5 million of cash positive position, an increase of 2.5 million compared to last year. This is particularly important because we are moving in a context where all the other utilities serving electricity in the market, they have more or less 73% of debt to turnover ratio. So if we have, so they have, I would say, a certain amount of debt. And I just checked the data from the European Central Bank that the average cost they published yesterday to corporates is about 5%. So clearly we are running in a context where our competitors, they have more or less from 3 to 4% extra cost that we don't have, and this creates more cash and creates more margins. And even if on the 12th of September, the central bank will reduce, the tax rate, I think we will see this will be maybe by, better than me, but by not a surprisingly high value. So I think our competitive position of being cash positive will still last for the next 2 to 3 years. Going back to volumes, we deliver more or less 600 gigawatt hour to reseller clients and more or less 300 gigawatt hour to direct clients. Going to the next slide, where we look in the number of points served. I think here it's very important that as eVISO we decide to change KPI because we realized that the number of users could be was a very nice KPI representing the capacity of eVISO of industrially serving at scale a lot of users. But the number of users rolling in 12 months takes into account the fact that maybe for the same point of consumption, you can have during 1 year several users, or that the same user can ask to change power. So this means, let's say, a new contract. As a matter of fact, last year, the number of support services were 50,000. So instead of giving the number of the user serves or the contracts that were changed, which in the 12 months period were above 500,000, okay, we decided to shift and give a different number, which is the number of collection points served in the last month, in this case in the June. So we have that in June, eVISO served 201,000 points of consumption, independently if the point of consumption was used by several people or several during the year. Okay, so it's one time. So the number of collection points served were 201,000, an increase of 35% compared to last year. The number of gas point collection PDR of gas were more than 3,500, so still small but increasing. We served 94 resellers, and the number of support service we deliver to reseller clients and to direct clients were 50,000. So more or less 4,000 per month. Very high capacity of giving services to our clients. The number of points, these 201,000 points, it's a number that you can compare with the 36 millions of, for instance, electric pod point of consumption that are present in Italy. So this number is a number that can give you a comparable with the research you can find published from the Italian authorities or from Terna that tells you the consumption per pod or similar numbers. So from 201,000 to 36 millions, I think we still have a couple of years to go, right? So it's a very important upside. And from now on, we will give to the market this number. We will no longer give the other number, which is important because operationally we need to execute all this billing to these users, but it's an internal, I would say, KPI and not much an external KPI. When we move, then I will move, please, to the net financial position. So last year we finished in June 2023 with more or less 8.9 millions of cash. We have seen an increase in net working capital of 15.7 millions. So we were quite efficient in creating cash. Then the erosion of cash was due to 4.6 millions deposit from customers that were reduced. This happened because we had to align the value of the deposits with the the new price of electricity. The deposits were collected during a period where the price of electricity was closer or above 300. Now the price of electricity is quite stable between 100 and 150 euro per megawatt hour. So this decrease was due to this alignment. Let me remind you that in December last year, we changed with the resellers almost the entire contracts with resellers, and due to this change, we had to realign the deposits to the new cost of electricity. We have this VAT credit, which is stable at 2.4 million. The more we sell, the more VAT credit we have. This VAT credit can be easily sold to banks because it's an outstanding credit. We decided not to do that because we were cash positive. But this could change in the future. We invested 1.5 million in buyback, mainly due in 2023. As I have seen some observation published by the analysts that are here in the room, we could add, and we will do that in September, after the position, we would add the value of the shares shares eVISO owns at the end of June, just to give you how much is this value. But I would say in a rough number, eVISO has now more or less 3 million euros of shares at hand. So I think this was a very important investment. Then moving, and just to give you a clear sign, eVISO is now, the buyback is still active and as we speak. The capex in this period, the headquarter absorbed 4.6 million. The headquarter is finished, and so this has to be considered as extraordinary value. I would say that, okay, so we closed the position at 11.5 million in the net financial position, which is giving a clear sign of the solidity of the company. During the last 6 months, we also reported to Cerved our data, and our Cerved decided to keep the A-class rating. Cerved is the biggest Italian credit agency, and I think the last time I've checked, Eni was the only listed operator in Italy with an A credit rating. It's a different scales for sure, but still a solid result. So I would say that regarding, and I will move to the smart mail. I know some of you are really interested in this subject. We will have some news in the futures. I would say that smart mail is still in the scale up phase. We have traded 127 tons of apples. The marketplace is active with 40,000 tons which are present for sales. The revenue was still not material, but the average price of the product is increasing. So we are looking at the price of this raw material, which is constantly increasing in the last 3 years. So I would say that when there will be news on the Apple market, where we are still the only marketplace in the world, as far as I know, which is selling forward of apples. But we will have some news in the future regarding these sections. So I will, let's say, move to conclusion before getting let's say, moving to questions. I think that I strongly believe that the eVISO built a profit formula that is industrially very solid, and that the results that we have presented in these last 12 months are solid results that will keep on increasing in the future. I also believe that the activities put in place by eVISO in the last 12 months clearly shows the very positive attitude that eVISO has toward long-term investors in terms of frequency of communications. And we have here the frequency of communication of important news to the market, buyback activities, post-results calls, videos that we publish, and the presence of 3 brokers covering national, international, and retail investors. As a result, eVISO is today, as a result of everything we have seen, eVISO is today producing more gross margin than ever. We are increasing our pipeline. We are creating an increase in competitive barriers to other operators. We are accelerating on digital infrastructure, and we are strongly expanding our sales infrastructure to acquire more clients in all the segments we are present. So I will stop here, and I would say I will move to questions. So in order to make the questions, I think if you can raise your head, maybe Laura and Marta can help me getting the questions. I would, just ask it, okay, and I will answer to it. So no need to write. The question part is still recorded, but will not be shown in the website. We will just present this initial part where I am the only speaker. So yeah, so I see Marco Seveso. So
yes, good morning. No, I have just maybe 2 questions. The first one on volumes, because I assumed that the pipeline conversion should be in my model where I try to estimate this should be converted faster, so I would expect a bit higher volume for the last 2 quarters maybe, or the last quarter, so the contribution of the last quarter. Of course, I did some assumption that are based on my thoughts, not based. So if you can help us to describe a bit the conversion of pipeline and the early comment on the new free market of electricity, so the end of the protected market, which is the impact that you are seeing on your resellers, which are the comments, and so if you can do some comment on this, that could be another leg of growth, and hopefully already this year. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Marco. So regarding the increase of volume, so the conversion of the volumes we communicate, I think you were talking about resellers. In December, we signed large volumes. I think was 1.2 or 1.4, I don't remember, pipeline. How much is this conversion? I would say that the conversion is happening. We have seen the last 2 months, June, May and June, were not famous as a consumption of energy. So the last 2 months of this year, we had a lot of rain everywhere here. So we did not have air conditioning on. So the consumptions were, and also consumption of companies were not that high. So I would say one thing in the volume that we agree to deliver to you, another thing is the volume that your clients really consumes in those months. So as a note, May and June were not, I would say, they were below our expectations, while I can say, and we will present the data in September, that consumption of July and August were above our expectations. So I would say due to heat wave and more consumption. So this is
Okay.
more than I understand that your question was about how to turn the contract into volumes. Here I'm just commenting on the volumes. Regarding also the conversion of contracts into volumes, I think they are moving as planned. We are giving every time there is an increase of reasonable increase compared to our expectations. We communicate this to the market, and we have given several press releases. You were asking about free market. So if this period of free market, we see something, I would say, apart from the fact that we have an headquarter and that we have people entering into the company constantly. So we are, I would say, a new line of sales, because before we didn't have, I would say, a shop where you can buy electricity. So apart from this local that is increasing, but I would say that regarding reseller, we did not experience yet the increase of sales of resellers toward these the users from the liberalized market. This was expected because the users moved to the new company in July. They are now receiving the new bills at the end of August, beginning of September. So my personal expectation is that these more than 4 million users, we realize they are supplied by a new operators by the end of September, beginning of August, and they will, and some of them will decide to change operator and select the one that they want, and they will go to the reseller, so they will come to us. So I think I expect good news coming from there at the end of September, beginning of October. So and so far, I would say volumes that we predicted, we announced, are not connected to the liberalized market. So upside is still to be measured. Okay. Thank you, Marco.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Guillaume, I see you there. Hello, Guillaume.
Good morning, everyone. I have a few questions from my side. Looking at the electricity price across the summer, which has been quite high, especially in July and August. Could you comment the impact on volume and on working capital led by this increase of electricity price? So that's my first question. Do you prefer we do one by one, or
No,
do you
please.
prefer I gave me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Give all of them. Yeah, thank you.
Then I was wondering if you can give us some perspective in terms of what we should expect on the gross margin for the upcoming year, 24-25. Then an update on how is everything taking place related to the fact that you recently reinforce your commercial teams. I wanted to follow up on the gas, as you mentioned that the growth will be fast on volume. So if you can give us, I know if you can give us quantitative data, but it might be helpful for us. And the last one is related to the litigation with the Italian government when it related to the tax on extra profit on those past years. It's just to know if you had any news on that front, because I remember that there is still a bit more than like a few million, single-digit million that has been paid and that you are claiming back, right?
Yeah. 3.7 million. Yes.
So yeah, it might be interesting to get a bit of flavor on where you are at the moment on this litigation. So that's my let's say my first my main point.
Okay. Thank you, Guillaume. Yes. So I will start from this last part regarding the litigation. Yes, I confirm we paid 2.9 million of extra profit in one period and 0.7. Federica, I just confirm
7,
on
yeah, 7, yeah.
Yeah, so it's 3.6 in total millions. And Federica, do we have? So we presented our litigation.
We present all the document to to the tax agency and also to the tribunal that do that manage this litigation. we do this all these things with one of the best fiscal advisor of Italy, and so we are in good. We are doing the best that we do. There is no news from the government and from the tax agency, because we have some news about Accise, okay, because there is some other company like us that do not accept that all the extra profit are calculated also in Accise that are tax, so it's mandatory. And so we do all the things that also to demonstrate that it's not correct, but there is no news, very big news from the government, because we are in timing, because we have 18 months to do all the tax agents have 18 months to do all the study and answer us and give some response, give some feedback.
And when did it start?
The second about the extra profit of 23, we do we send all our documents at I think at March 24, because we
okay,
have
so we start counting 18 months.
Yeah, from March 24.
Starting, okay.
Yes, in this, I would say, Guillaume, that the news will be to have some results. So I would say that will be so no results were actually expected before 2025.
Yeah,
so this will be a long
tax agency cannot respond, because in Italy we're silenzio assenso, okay? If tax agent doesn't answer, okay, it doesn't send any feedback, and we go to other from the fiscal judgment, and so.
Yeah, so this will require time, would be a long process.
Yeah, long time in Italy too.
Yeah, so I would say it's reasonable to expect some sort of result at the end of 2025.
Yeah, at the end of 25.
Not before.
Not before. No.
Yeah, and the actual government is not the one that published the law, so they have no interest in having, I would say, anything to talk about the previous law by another government. So regarding going to the other questions, so regarding the growth of gas, we have seen a growth of gas to direct clients and mainly direct clients. We published at the end of July, beginning of August, the fact that we sold a large contract to also industrial clients. So we expect to the growth of gas as an order of magnitude. I think that at the current level, we could expect to keep the growth that we have seen. So I would not be surprised if there would be a growth of, let's say, from 4.6 million to maybe 10 million square meters delivered in the next 12 months. Regarding gas direct, regarding resellers, today the volumes that we are delivering is still not material, but we have implemented some technological features. So in reseller market, the suppliers as us giving gas to resellers, they mainly stop half time. They don't give gas, I would say, to the final users. It's a technicality, but we decided to give gas to also to final users of resellers. So this is something that is differentiated of us from the market, and we will see from September to November if this kind of product is how is acceptable by the reseller market. So Guglielmo, I would say direct clients, we expect I would say double-digit growth. Reseller, we will give you update to the market in September, October. I would say that because in a reseller, either you sign big contract, you sign no contract. So we will give these numbers. But we are very, very positive because the new value chain, we reinforce the value chain. We have new contracts, very favorable contracts with international suppliers of gas. So we are very competitive in that segment now. Yes, I confirm that the commercial activity, this direct sales activity is very active, and we are now selling, and you see from the news more contracts, I would say, that we have ever sold. But the development of a sales activity requires time. You need to train the salespeople that they need to sell, and then the users are getting into the pipeline. So I would say that in the next round of KPI, we will give you in September the data not only of direct, but we'll have direct retail, direct small companies, and also indirect, meaning it's not our sales force that is selling, but are other agencies that are selling our clients. So in the September data, we will divide these direct clients in more sectors so that we can show to the market which sector is growing the most. Clearly, the sales activity of direct sales is focused on a small and medium enterprise, while domestic activities are more by the so retail activities are more by other agency or by the I would say shop that we have in the headquarter. But I would say the numbers will be very clear in September, so that it will be somehow possible to put that into your I would say I call it Excel file, but projections
model
in your model, exactly. So going back to the price, thank you. So this is we forecasted the price of electricity between 100 and 150 euro per megawatt hour. So we had the clear visibility that the value would lie between these two numbers. As we speak, this is still the window that we foresee until January of this year. So between 100 and 150, then depending if there is a lot of sun, if there is a lot of wind, the dynamics of renewables, but still we have high visibility on that. So I would say that also the increase in July and August, they were fully within these limits. So we had absolutely no, we're very not confident, but we just had some more absorption of working capital, but totally within the expectations that we had. So I would say it's a transition. If the PUN moves from 100 to 150, it's just that month that we have a higher absorption, but then the clients start to pay, and we go back to I would say the usual dynamic. On the other hand, it's important to look at the competitors. Many of the tier one operators in Italy acquired a lot of clients from this regulated market, so they have a very high position with clients where they just acquired. So from a eVISO perspective, this increase had a marginal effect, but from the market's perspective, some of our competitors almost stopped the selling activities with small and medium enterprises. So this, I would say, it's something that it's good when there are these oscillations. We know how to manage them, and we keep on acting. Federica, do you have an observation regarding the question on this working capital, of this oscillation of the price of electricity? Do you want to add something more?
No, with the reintroduce of the onere di rete, we have a stable cash flow, because now we are in a normal situation, in Italy after the big crisis. So we are also with the upgrade of our margin, of our volume. We have the capacity to manage in the best way our cash flow, and using also some easy financial operation like short loan, or to help also the volatility of the PUN, also the increase of volume. So after the big crisis, now we are working in a normal situation, and we our muscles are very, very strong, So after this period, now with Gianfranco, we are working in a new era of managed cash. So put cash in our business with high margin, and so we are doing a lot of study in cash file and how to manage in the best way our cash flow and our model, to support the growth of eVISO or of the volume. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Federica. This is curious. I'm just adding a note. So there was this study published by Intesa at the beginning of July, where they presented a perspective of a strong increase in cost of gas at the end of August, beginning of September. Like a very strong increase, looking at pricing of electricity at about 450 euro per megawatt hour. So in July, we considered that study very extreme, but we inserted that in the model, and I would say we were prepared to some very large fluctuations that we consider impossible, because the fact that we could be prepared doesn't mean that the system can absorb them. And at the end, we did not see what they were publishing. Our forecasts were not aligned with the publishing and their data, but we still consider that in our forecast in order to be prepared also for some very strange scenarios. And we are happy nothing, changed. But just to reinforce the question, the point of Federica, we are very trained to manage the complexity of high fluctuations, so that this can be a force for us in order to conquer more market.
Gianfranco, I had a quick note about Salesforce. We are working with two advisors to recruiting new salesmen and saleswoman. Okay, so also this is a new era, because we want to increase our sales force to manage all the opportunity of the electricity market and gas market, and so they are two very interesting company, one from Milan, from Piedmont, and so we have good news also from this sector.
Thank you,
Very clear,
Federica.
thank you.
Davide?
Yes, good morning, everyone, and nice to hear a presentation about these amazing results. I have also a couple of questions. The first, some of which you already gave partially a reply, but maybe some more detail would be appreciated. The first one regards the price of electricity still, as I have seen that also in the first days of September, we are reaching the higher part of the interval you mentioned. So we are in 140, between 140 150. And my question is, if the electricity remains at this level or goes even maybe a bit higher, will eVISO have a positive impact on the deposits? So
No.
I get.
No.
Okay.
It is not possible with such a short-term fluctuations. It is not reasonable to change the deposit. So I want to be clear. Our forecasts are very clear. Until January, the average value of electricity is moving between 130 and 140. So this is what we have seen based on the data that we have now. Even if we have 1 day oscillation, 2 days oscillations, by looking at the average is quite stable. We have no scenarios that can bring them to 200. And regarding the deposits of customers, I think only if there is a 20-25% increase or reduction, it is reasonable to change the contracts. Otherwise, it is our job to absorb.
Yeah, David, it's not linear. Because we have a lot. eVISO have a big plafond of guarantee of warranty, so we can manage this fluctuation. not going to the customer and avoiding asking an increase of deposit, because it's not possible to our customer because they are not so good as us to manage this. Okay, so it's not linear.
Yes,
and
there's
also as
not
a sales
constant formula
perspective,
adapting.
as a
yes.
sales perspective, it's not as a commercial perspective.
Commercial side, no, it's not possible.
Yeah,
Okay.
but also it's not
Okay.
wanted. Okay, so we want to convey stability also in this fluctuation market. Okay, so it was the first one.
Second one is related to CapEx. As you mentioned, this year you invested 4.6 million in the headquarter. So in my model right now, starting from next year, we have an average CapEx between 2.5 and 3 million for the next years. So I'm wondering what could be a good investment for eVISO, what could be in what eVISO could spend money in the next year in order to develop new technologies, or and related to this, maybe how is the testing of the eVISO Giro platform going, and what are the first results that you are seeing?
Yes, Davide, thank you for the questions. I'm sure you will read the letter to investor that we will publish in September with attention. So you will find some of the answers there. I think that today we are more focused on I would say, on the results of the last 12 months. Regarding, so we have several projects going on. Smart Mail is one of them. Then, as you mentioned, thank you, eVISO Giro. So what is eVISO Giro for the, I would say, as a general purpose? So eVISO Giro is a product that we designed for the retail market, Italian and European market. For now, it's Italian, but to give you a perspective, it's been designed by non-Italians all over Europe. So eVISO Giro is a very simple product. Every time you go doing an activity, a sport activity, you use your energy. Yesterday I went to run for 10 kilometers and then I registered with my smartwatch. So eVISO Giro is taking the energy that you spent in your sport activity and it's transforming that into electricity that you can collect into your eVISO Giro app. And then if you are an eVISO client, you can use that energy in your house and domestic bills that will be reduced by a certain amount. So what we are looking is that we are looking to this to the sector of sport people, wealth people. In the world, there are more or less 600 or 650 millions of people that regularly use app for sport and wellness, and a very large amount, millions of people in Italy too. We are looking at those kind of clients so that they can use eVISO Giro to monitor their energy and become a eVISO client because we can, discount the energy that they produce in their bill. Sport people usually they spend a lot of money in bicycle, as Marco was here with me before, and we think they pay the bill. And the idea is that by giving a little discount of a few euros, we avoid the 50, 70, 80 euros we need to pay to a sales agency in order to collect a domestic client. As a second point, we think that the clients that will get in eVISO through eVISO Giro will be very stable because you go and exercise every day. So this will be a very high stability. The eVISO Giro is now in the industrial testing phase. What means industrial testing phase is that we designed the whole app and the whole system. We finished this design in June, July. In July, we started the industrial phase so that people can use the app in their iPhone. I give you a couple of, I would say, suggestions that came out from professional cyclists using eVISO Giro. They suggested us few things that as developers we didn't know, but as a sport professional they knew. So they suggested us how to better implement the app, not regarding the billing or the technical things, but regarding the professional use by professional teams. So this was one of the suggestions. They told us that when we modify on Strava some activities, we should do, pay attention of not deleting other stuff, for instance. Now, going back to the when the industrial phase will finish, we will communicate that to the market. Just for now, no one can find the eVISO Giro app on the usual platform because we explicitly decided not to make it public. So the only way you can download the eVISO app is by receiving an invitation. So this was an explicit decision. Once the industrial testing phase is complete, then we will make it free from everyone to download. One of the findings which was totally unexpected is that few users are using eVISO Giro to monitor the energy, the watt hour, the energy that they consume during their sport activity. In eVISO, we were thinking that this was a long-term solved problem. So we were not thinking that that was something that was challenging, but we received feedback from professional athletes that indeed knowing how much energy you burn during your race is not a solved problem, it's still an open problem. So this was some kind of surprise, but in energy, we know how to measure. So we could also, this is a good upside. So I would finish, the comments regarding eVISO Giro, which is a product for the retail clients everywhere in Italy, not just close to Saluzzo. Actually, you can do your activity while you are on holiday. You can bike in Madrid and then use your energy in Milano. So, okay. So, Davide, I think we have time for one more questions. Thank you, Davide. I will ask also, I see, yes, Silvestro Bonora, yes.
Yeah, good morning,
Ciao,
everyone,
Silvestro.
and congrats for results. Really good. So just 3 questions about the first one about profitability. If you are happy about this level of gross margin, and I presume EBITDA you reached this year, and if you can expect something like that in 2025 and in the next year. The second one is about strategy growth. If you remain stick in pursuing an organic growth only, and if your net financial position could give you room for something different. And the third one is about a follow-up about the volumes on gas business unit for 2025 in light of the last contracts that you signed in early August. And in particular about the growth that you reached in second half in volumes in this business unit.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Silvestro. Yes, we are regarding the profitability. I confirm we are the profitability is never high enough, but I would say that we consider 70 million of gross margin a number which is very satisfying. And yes, I confirm we are looking at increasing that number very much in the next 3 years. That's why we're investing in direct sales, we're investing in resellers, we're investing in the gas, so increase the volume of gas on the direct channel and also in the reseller channel. So yes, our focus is to grow the gross margin number, absolute number, as fast and as much as possible. Why is that? Is because since we are a platform company, more or less the cost that we need to deduct from the gross margin total value are not changing that much with volume. So clearly, if we manage in the next years to double or triple the gross margin, the cost we need to deduct is still not very different from today. So we will see a fast creation of cash and of profits. So this was the first comment. Yes, we see regarding a strong growth. I think that the sales activity we are putting in place will give us growth in the direct channel. In September, October, we will have higher visibility regarding reseller on the impact of this process of liberalization of the market, and we will get a feeling if the clients, the more or less 4 million clients that were shifted to a new operator during the liberalization process that started in the 1st of July this year, if which portion of those clients actually will move to an operator selected by them and not selected by the system. So I expect that a reasonable number of those clients will ask to our resellers to, supply them, and so we will have an increase in the reseller segment. But I still don't have a visibility on the number of this increase, which is still not accounted. I would say we still don't count it in your numbers, in our numbers, and I think also in your analysis, this is still open. Regarding the gas, I was mentioning before that I will not be surprised if we double in the direct channel, if we double the volume in the direct segment in the next year, and we keep on growing fast in the next few years. Regarding reseller acceptability of our gas offer, I'm sure in October, November, we will release the results of the campaign, which is now going on with the resellers, where we have an very competitive offer with our high-end services. So also gas, how much the gas will increase in the reseller is something that we will have a clear visibility in the next 3 months. We are from the Cuneo province, so we say the numbers once we have those numbers. Okay, so I think Silvestro, you know us long enough so that I'm not saying we're prudent. I'm just saying we are an industrial vision, so we give visibility once we have the visibility. Okay, so I would say that thank you to all of you. We reached the limit of the call, so thank you for the questions, and you will receive more news at the end of September, where we will publish the full year results with audited with the gross margin data, the EBITDA data, and all the other numbers that you need for your studies. So thank you for being our shareholders, and we are very happy to keep on talking with you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.